Right now, it's time, as usual, to get on with the weapons loadout. I really hope you guys in the stream learned something as far as what I was talking about with the clown hat or chef's cover or, whatever. I hope you guys learned something about that. All right. So tracking on. Now, today we're going to start with the secondary, which I'm not hating you if you want to make it your primary, but there is a reason I have it as a secondary. And that is the Galil. I know a lot of you guys heard me say when I was attached out to Israel that I actually carried the Galil. That's true. Okay, but don't get it twisted. They were still carrying around the 16A1, 16A2. Okay, in my opinion, the Galil is actually, it's a little heavier, a little longer. Mobility would be my biggest key. Now, I know some of you hitters out there are going to be like, well, if you shot one, right? Not at the range. I'm talking out in the desert, in the sandbox, right? On operations, okay? In my personal opinion, the freaking Galil outdid the M16 only because, and this is true, only because it was 7.62 instead of 5.56, right? Your M16s are 5.56. This was 7.62. Now, not all Galils are actually chambered in the 7.62. The weapon system consists of a line chambered for the intermediate 5.56 45 NATO caliber, right? But here's the thing. It will also, and the variants, chances are if you pick up a Galil off the battlefield in Israel, it's going to be 7.62, which makes sense, right? Because we know the neighbors surrounding them, their weapon of choice is what? It's an AK-47, which is what? 7.62, right? So if you're running around, like when I was over there, not saying, I mean, there were some Israelis using the M16, A1, A2. But to me, right, if something happens, I run out of ammo or whatnot, I want the Galil with me. Because chances are I'm going to find an AK or a Galil 7.62 chambered than I will an M16. And as far as durability, I got to tell you boys, I know, backtracking on what I was saying, I know a lot of my operators or guys that have actually used this in an environment, in a certain, operational environment, not at the range where there's no stress or pressure on you. Some people will say that this thing jams up too easy. I have to disagree. Through the thousands of rounds I shot out of this in training, as well as in real world, I probably had it jam on me 2 or 3 times. In fact, point of fact, we actually buried this thing and buried an M16 in the sand, completely submerged, pulled them out, racked around, and the Galil fired and the M16 didn't. So it was pretty much from that day on, as well as the reasoning behind carrying a 7.62 in that region with the unit. Now, I'm not saying if you're in a line unit, there's going to be plenty of beer and dope, beans and bullets, whatever you want. There's going to be plenty of supply. All right, if you're inside the wire, outside the wire, just with a line unit. But for operators, for hitters, right, there's not, it's not call in a care package, right? You might not see a care package, huh? So this is all I'm saying, and that's why that the Galil is actually one of my favorite weapons of all time. It's definitely been battle tested, just like the 16. And that I just don't know what else to say about this weapon, but that is my personal experience with it. People saying it was jammed. Now, the mobility, I'll give you that. It just seemed more, should I say, cumbersome. That's the good word for it. It seemed more cumbersome than even the M16. Less mobility, but it packs a punch. And again, I've made plenty of 300-meter shots with this. I mean, it's that good of a weapon, in my opinion. So with that being said, let's go ahead and go ahead and dust this. Again, this is our secondary. I am making this secondary more of a DMR.